and let's go ahead and just start the presentation. So here I am giving the presentation in my office, and we're going to start. A few more people I'm sure will float in, but we'll go ahead and get going. So today we're going to talk about Oracle Business Intelligence 12.2.1.1 new features. You can follow us at Vlamis Software on our Twitter, or reach out to me via email or tweet me at dvlamis. A little bit just so you understand the background of where we're coming from. Vlamis Software Solutions was started over 20 years ago in Kansas City. We've developed all sorts of BI and analytics systems, and we specialize in the area of enterprise business intelligence, data warehousing, and data visualization and other things. I'm an Oracle ACE director, and I am co-author of a book on data visualization for Oracle Business Intelligence 11G and on Oracle Essbase and Oracle OLAP. We are also our Oracle University partners and a gold partner for Oracle, specializing in Oracle Business Intelligence. This is in a series of webcasts that we have in case you're interested. Frankly, I use this when we're working on consulting projects to look back and see when was that feature introduced when clients are on various releases. But if you go to our website at vlamis.com and click on the papers and presentations, you'll see a series of webcasts on really all the Oracle BI releases starting with 11.1.1.5. And then we also are expanding that to include the BI Cloud Services releases, and you'll see lots of other examples of those as well. During the presentation, you can send me questions or chat. You should find a little toolbar. It's that little orange thing that you may have clicked on to get rid of and get it out of the way. You simply click on that again, and you can submit questions through GoToWebinar. Everybody is in mute mode, so you'll need to ask the questions via the chat. It would be just too much noise behind to try and open up phone lines. You'll also find all the presentations of the prior history out. If you click on presentations and then papers by year, go back to the appropriate year, you'll find them up there. We're using SampleApp as our platform for doing this. There's a new version coming out, version V607. And let me just dive in. I like to do this in general just to give you a sense of what we're looking at the beginning of the presentation, so you see the platform that we use for this from SampleApp. So with that, let me go ahead and toggle over. You should be able to see the index for SampleApp and see what that looks like. On there, quick plug for them, and I'll talk about it a little more later. There is a plethora of things available, tons of dashboards for you to tear apart and understand how they do this. If I click on full index here, you can see just the areas. These are all shortcuts to all of this, and these are all the areas that they have in your mobile, maps, and spatial, and every one of these links is a dashboard page that you can go and tear apart and see what's done with this. And interesting ways of using Oracle BI, not necessarily all best practices, because there are multiple ways to do things, and this is just trying to give you a sense of some of the things you can do with Oracle BI, a fantastic resource that we use in our consulting practice as we work with customers, and I encourage you to do so as well. So let me go ahead and show you a couple things that are available in here. If, for instance, I just pick on one of them, a SAM key, which is a new one in here, you'll find that we can look at an example visualization. This is just a new one coming out, where as I hover over each one of these various countries, you can see what sources are used. An interesting visualization of doing this. If I go back to the index, I'll find there's another example. Just picking on something is the time series decomposition, and that is just showing for some stock data, for instance. Here's the close price of all the stocks, and you can see how that price, what the trend is, and this is calling R scripts to end up looking at the trend of what the stock prices are. and using the power of R, we can also look at the seasonality, pick out the seasonality. R computes all that, and then if you multiply this and this, you end up with, and subtract from this, you'll end up with the remainder. This is in effect the noise in the stock market for this specific stock price. So it's kind of an interesting way of combining Oracle visualizations with the power of advanced analytics in the database. So that just kind of gives you just a background of, there's visual analyzer stuff in here as well. If I come in here and look at the index, you can see we've got a bunch of visual analyzer dashboards as well. We'll come to that, back to this later on as well. So with that, let me go back to the presentation and show you a little more of what's new. If we just look at kind of the high-level list of what the new features are, we can see that the big news for this release, I think there's two main things, that's why I made them larger, is this is the first patch release of the 12C release of OBIEE. There is a certain contingent of people that says until they're in the first patch release, I'm not going to install it. This is that first patch release, and so we do have that available at this point, and you can install this release and feel like, hey, they've slipped in those bug patches they need to slip in. The other big headlining feature of this is at this moment, in effect, there's feature parity between BI Cloud Services, Data Visualization Cloud Service, and Oracle BI on-prem, the installed release. What's happening is Oracle is in general implementing features in the data visualization desktop tool, and they're also putting it in the cloud, and then periodically they catch up with the on-prem release. That's what's taking place here. They're also, so some of the other things, just to give you a preview of what we'll talk about in the webcast, there's more visual analyzer data visualization enhancements. You'll find that the features are really going into visual analyzer at this point in terms of where Oracle is focusing their efforts, at least from what we see in what they implement in the product. There's new data wrangling capabilities, the ability to change things around. We'll go into that more, and I'll give demonstrations of really most of this, transformations associated with a specific data set. There's new data sources and permissions. The ability to get at multiple data sources, kind of exciting. I'll show you actually bringing that in from an Oracle table. There's the ability to blend things from various spreadsheet Excel sources and blend those together. There's the ability to do dashboard subpages. There's a detailed upgrade guide. There are some new features in the BVT, the baseline validation tool. This is the tool that allows you to have confidence that you can go back to, you can upgrade to releases without changes to your dashboards. Look into it, BVT. We have other presentations on that as well. And there are BI Publisher and MapViewer enhancements as well. So with that as kind of a high-level list, let's jump into some of the details. One of those is, for instance, the ability to look at a storytelling mode in here. So we have a storytelling mode that is accessible up on the toolbar that allows you to tell a story or give various insights as to what's going on. So you can go into presentation mode for when you want to hide all the clutter on this, and you can add additional insights. New is the ability to drag and drop the various insights and reorder them, and this starts to be kind of a down payment on a dashboarding capability along with some other capabilities that are in here as well. So with that, let me go ahead and show you what that looks like at this point, and let's go ahead and show you an example. So here's a dashboard that we've put together that has 4 visualizations, and it's showing the GDP per capita and also the GDP current prices in green, the unemployment rate in yellow, and in red the net debt. This is an example from SampleApp that I kind of modified to be able to showcase this. Notice that here we have an insight in here I can put in here something saying, note the wide disparity in GDP for the U.S. in the blue chart and the very high unemployment in Africa in the yellow chart. And then I can switch to another insight. If I click on this little dot, it'll change to the next insight that I have from this. And now I can see unemployment in Africa. Note how the variable the unemployment in Africa is. And by the way, we're missing some data. All those gray countries, we're missing data for those. So we need to get that. Now I have the ability with this little insight navigation pane. I can turn that on, and then I can reorder these insights and drag them so that this is the first one. And as well, I can come in here and edit, update it, remove it, all that type of stuff. That's one of the things that's new in 12.2.1.1. As well, if I want to go into presentation mode, I can click on the little present mode, and all that other stuff goes away, and I don't have to see that. I can turn that on and off as well. So let me come back to the slides and share other things that are in here. Okay, so there are also some new visualizations in Visual Analyzer. I just showed kind of a screenshot of what the list of visualizations that you can change to looks like in here. So if I look, there is for instance, a combo visualization, the ability to have dual axes, a left axis, if you will, for the line, and a bar chart on the right axis, that type of thing. There's also a scatter chart that's been there, but now there's a categorical scatter chart. What we mean by that is the ability, we'll show some examples, but the ability to have instead of having a scatter chart of just two measures, you can include one of them being a categorical measure, and the ability to stack them as well as a new donut graph. So let me show you what some of those look like. In the interest of time, I just took screenshots of these. The combo visualization shows a bar chart along with a line graph. And so in this example, for instance, we have revenue as, I believe, the line graph is in the revenue and the bar chart is in unit price. And so we can combine two different measures without having to scale them to meet the same scale. Notice the scale is totally different. Unit price goes up to 135 and revenue goes up to 35 million. And so we can combine those on one visualization. We also have the ability with a scatter chart. Most of you are probably familiar with seeing scatter charts that have two axes. One, for instance, a revenue axis going up, and you might plot that against something like price or something like that, another numerical measure. That's the way you had to do scatter charts before. Now we have the ability with a scatter chart to put a categorical axis on the x-axis, such as, for instance, here, customer name. And then we can look at this. This is actually just a piece of it. We can scroll this back and forth and look at multiple things. And then we have the ability to look at multiple measures. In this case, profit value is the color of the dot, and the paid units is in the size of the dot. So some additional flexibility in how we handle scatter charts in Visual Analyzer. We also have, if you want to see what a donut graph, basically a donut graph is just like a pie graph, except in the middle you can actually display the actual value of the measure. So it's a nice additional capability. This is Oracle kind of fleshing out the visualizations that are in there. We also have, this is kind of a little thing that you don't see very clearly until you start building dashboards, and the need for this is the ability to select an image and put some kind of bitmap image on a dashboard. I'll show an example of that, but this is what it looks like in order to be able to select a file. And so I can come in and demonstrate that in just a moment. What that does is that allows you to put together dashboards. So here I've put together a sample dashboard. You can see starting over on the left, we have the ability to have a text box and image. Our new types of visualizations really don't involve data, but you can drag those over to your presentation space in Visual Analyzer, just like any of the other visualizations. By the way, while I'm at it, I wanted to show there's a new thing that's kind of cool. Instead of looking at this by type, you can look at it by objective, and that's what this looks like when you look at this by objective. And so you can also include the text box with text that comes at the top of your dashboard, and we can include links here that allow us to either link in specific text or remove that. As well, on the canvas that you add all this to, you have the ability not only to have stuff in free auto-fit, which is the default, but you can also freeform move the things around. And I'll show you an example of why that becomes important as you do this. So with that, let me try and just show you what this looks like live if I come in here. So here I have a dashboard that I've built, and let's call it a canvas that I've put together. It's literally not as much to call it a dashboard, but here's a visualization. I've included, if I go down here and look at the list, here's a text box and an image, and I went ahead and put the logo up in the upper left-hand corner. Maybe a little too big, takes up too much space, but I just wanted to demonstrate the capability. And indeed, you can even include a link in here. If I look at the properties of this, you can go in and see that there is a place where I can specify a hyperlink and to our website. And if I just run that, if I click it, it's going to go ahead and launch going into our website as another tab on here. So that's what that looks like. I can also put in, if I click inside here and look at the text, I can look at include, make this a link, include a URL that it goes to. I can adjust the font size and make this bigger. And with these types of capabilities, we have kind of what I think of as the first down payment in Oracle extending the Visual Analyzer interface to include, let's call it rudimentary dashboarding capabilities that start to make this like a real dashboard. I mention that just because in the Answers and Dashboards interface, we have the ability to build fully functional dashboards. In the Visual Analyzer interface, there's still some things that's still missing from this, but now with being able to link and delink the updating from this, it starts to make it so you can build all of this together. Okay, so then let me keep going. That's an example of building the dashboard stuff. Let's flip back to the PowerPoint slides and show you more of some of the things you can do with this. All right. There are also some enhancements in Visual Analyzer that kind of just start, they slip in. There's the ability to do some improved filtering with things like contains, begins, ends, pattern match, and case sensitive. Some of that is new. There's the zooming on visualizations, and there's a drill down anywhere. So for instance, if I right-click on a pivot table, I can drill in multiple ways, and there's also, that was there before, but there's more capabilities in that as well. There's also the ability to have an improved color selector that actually brings up the entire palette of colors instead of being just pre-selected to specific colors that you've asked for. So let me go ahead and continue on and show some of the other stuff. That's really just some little enhancements in the visualizations. One of the things also is a new option to source data from Fusion Software as a Service applications, and you can specify a URL in the login information, or you can go for external sources on this as well and pull from external sources. The list actually is quite extensive, and from what I understand, from things I've seen, is going to become even more extensive. So let me go ahead and show what that looks like, because I'm kind of excited by this. It changes what we do in how we build projects once we allow users to be able to get at additional data. So let me come in and show an example. I'm going to build a brand new visualization from scratch in the Visual Analyzer interface. So I'm going to click on New Project, and I'm going to come in and specify I have regular subject areas that I could choose from that come with SampleApp, and there's a lot of them. I end up using sample sales for most of the demonstrations, but you can see there's a plethora of information on this platform. Or I can create a new data source. And this is kind of interesting. This is where you go to do mashup with Excel spreadsheets. So if I come in here, I can click Accounts and Opportunities, and I can add my own Excel data to my OBIEE. I've given previous presentations. If you go to our website, you'll see demonstrations of this when BICS was coming out and in the new features of BICS. And I've shown that we can go in and add accounts or opportunities.xlsx. These are simply Excel files that I have in here. Or I can come in here and source it from applications, Oracle applications. It'll prompt me through the cloud connection credentials. Or what's really interesting is the ability to do this with a database now. And now I can specify several different types of databases. I'll show that to you afterwards. But if I pull, for instance, from a connection called the Oracle database, and look, these are all the schemas in a local instance of the Oracle database that I can pull from. All of the credentials are in here in this add connection. That's where I specify the user ID and password and such. And if I come down here, let's just pick one of these schemas. As it turns out, when they put together this RPD file, the people that designed the BI system did not include the donation schema. That information is available in my database instance, but the people that put it together, through whatever means, I assume none of you have ever run into this, where nobody has time to add things to the RPD file, but we run into it a lot. And if I select the donation schema, it will then, Oracle BI is going out and asking, what are all the tables in the donation schema to which I have access? And it'll query the database and ask, here they are. I can't remember, there's one called school. Here it is. And if I double click on this, I am selecting a table, mind you, as an end user now, and I'm selecting what columns from the school, the Proj school table, what columns do I want to include in my visualization. And by the way, just as a quick aside, when you use the spreadsheet interface, it basically looks the same way. For those that haven't caught up and seen how you can use the data mashup capabilities to source things from Excel, you can do the same type of thing here where you specify what columns from the spreadsheet do you want to include in your visualization, and then include those in whatever tables or graphs or whatever you want to show. It's the same type of thing that I'm doing here. In this case, I'm pulling from an Oracle database table. And it starts to beg the question, do I really need an RPD file? Why can't users just use this tool now to get at whatever data they want from an Oracle table? Now, you'll notice I don't get any help in how to do joins. I can specify them in the interface, but there's no help. That's what you need BI admin tool and RPD files to do. People rename the columns to be more understandable, that type of thing. The school ID does me no good. The way it is, but that's the type of thing. This is all the columns that are available, and I can have a little preview of it here, and then if I just click Create Project, it'll end up creating a project from that extra data source. Oh, I already have it apparently. Yes, I did try this out ahead of time, and then that's going to add that to the project. In effect, what I'm doing is the data source looks like basically another subject area is the way it's exposed in the interface. So at this point, Oracle BI has all of the columns in the Project School table, and it has that as a data source called Project School. So I'm going to go ahead and select the state, the city, and the school ID, and I just want to get a list of states and cities and such. I can combine this with other data. There's a lot more I can do, but the real power here is to be able to source any Oracle tables you want, and indeed other sources. So I'm going to just select those, right-click, and specify pick a visualization. I'm going to look at these as a table. I just want to see what data is in this, and then I can see there's a state, school ID, and city. Now I could go and add this to other things. I can add calculations, all the stuff that you expect from Oracle BI, but then the ability to select from a table is pretty exciting because it allows us to preview things as in the end user interface without having to go through first all the RPD work to do all the joins and specify where things go. You can get them directly from the interface. As well, that allows BI administrators that are working with power users that maybe aren't afraid of going directly against the Oracle data to go prototype some things before they end up committing things to the big BI repository, the single source of truth, the common enterprise information model, that type of thing that in many organizations is kind of a big deal. I see actually a question that came in, and I'll try and address as we go. Where can we find this site? The SampleApp stuff, I'll have links at the end. You'll see where SampleApp is. Is there a way to open in presentation mode? I actually don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if you can go directly into presentation mode. If somebody knows, please chat me the answer, and I'll try and share it with the rest of the audience. So I don't know. And can you join that Proj School table to something else in the RPD? Yes, you absolutely can. I don't know how I would join it. I didn't prepare that, but you absolutely can. That's the whole idea of doing the mashup. And does that join persist for other users? It does if you save that as the way you have that set up in the data source. You can make it so that it persists for other users. It starts to beg the question, how much power do you want to give the users in these things? That's what I find is the very interesting aspect of this. So with that, let's jump back. I just wanted to show you I can access. Oh, and one other thing while I'm here. This is where the data sources are. Here's Proj School. I can come in here and add another data source. I can look at the source diagram of how this is where the joins are, by the way, guys. Add the data source, and if I look at data sets, I can see this is all my subject areas that are available. Data sets are the extra data sets that have been defined. And by the way, I think it's in here. Here's Proj School. It's already being used, so I can't add it. But I can add other data sets to this project, and that's how you end up adding things together and putting them in the same presentation. And then you can define the joins in order to have things that have common keys, that type of thing. As well, I wanted to show you while I'm here, if I go into the From database, not only can I specify multiple connections, I have this set up for Oracle database, but I can add other types of connections as well. So if I click on Add Connection, here's the basic connections that you have. My understanding is that more are coming, folks. So Oracle BI now can source from Oracle, Spark, SQL Server, DB2, the list goes on, and this allows me to do it without having to go through an RPD file. Mind you, there's good reasons to do that, but this allows end users a lot of power. You've got to figure out who you want to give this power to and who you don't. All right, so that's it on data sources. Let me come back to the presentation and show you some more things that are new in this release. All right, so also we have the ability to do some data wrangling that is really the most of what you're going to need to do in sourcing from either these tables or from the Excel spreadsheets that people have been using with BI Cloud Services for a while, and indeed that capability was in 12.2.1, the non.1 release, the first 12C release that came out. Is this data wrangling capabilities. You can do transformations associated with the various data sets. You also have the wrangling interface is available on the stage area, and Visual Analyzer has both in the canvas and the stage. There are some commonly used transforms that are available with within the user interface. I'll show you an example of that. Or you can write your custom transforms in the expression editor. So let me go ahead and I think I can just kind of extend what I was doing before and show you what this looks like. Let me show you some of the things in here. So for instance, if I have an example in here where I have various columns I'm bringing in, this could be from a relational data source or it could be from a spreadsheet. And so for instance, for text types, these are the types of things that are built in: split, concatenate, convert to a number, all sorts of things. For dates, there's a bunch of different types of transformations that are in there: convert to text, just pick out the year, just pick out the quarter, those types of things that you commonly would expect to need to do. And with numbers, same type of thing. You can convert to a text, concatenate two numbers, conditional grouping, quantile, all that type of stuff. And then if you click on edit, you can get various manually created transformations that you can type in kind of any expression you want. Again, you got to know something about how to design a function. Here's some help to help you out, but you know, you can do this, and it allows end users a lot more power in doing this. So let me go ahead and extend what we were showing before and show you what that looks like. So for instance, I've done this, put this together, but you know, I've found out that, I don't know you guys run into this, but sometimes I want to concatenate the state and the city together. Oh, I was going to go in here and specify, let me just show one thing in here. If I want to filter on this project school, and I want to filter based on state, so I want to look at here now, I happen to be in Kansas City. For those that don't know, Kansas City is in both Kansas and in Missouri. So I'm going to filter this down to just Kansas and Missouri now, and that adds this to my filter condition. You can see KS, Mo, and then now I'm only seeing those states and cities. One of the problems is that Kansas City is in both states. So I want to make this unique. So now I'm going to come in here and come to the stage panel, and it's going to list my columns that I was looking at, and I'm going to create a brand new column where I concatenate the state with the city together. The type of thing that commonly you need to do is concatenate two types of columns. I can split based on a delimiter, all that type of stuff that you need to do sometimes in massaging data sets. So I'm going to take state and city, concatenate them together with a space in between, and create that as a new column. So this was state. Now you see this new thing appears here, and let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. To turn off the stage, here is, oops, there it is. There's the state, and I can drag this over to include this as yet another column in my visualization. So there it is. Now I have the state and the city. Shows you kind of an example of what you can do with that data, the staging interface, in terms of adding additional calculated columns as the data comes in. Pretty powerful interface for doing this. I showed some pre-built transformations. Here's a split example where you can split on the first occurrence of a space or something like that. All right, so you also have the ability, didn't show it, but you have permissions on those data sources. Those data sources are set up by somebody that can then make those available. Sometimes you want to control who has access to various data sources. We have this in here as well. There's users and roles permissions on here as well. All right, so one of the things that's in here, indeed, as I looked through the documentation, it said there's lots of features in the Visual Analyzer interface. There's also happens to be one they slipped in for answers and dashboards. And so if you come in here, you can add a dashboard subpage. Really is needed in some cases. You have dashboards. Within dashboards, you have dashboard pages, and now we have the ability to put in dashboard subpages. And so you have the start of kind of a hierarchical navigation system built into the dashboarding capability. Sometimes you need this type of stuff when you're building in the dashboards and answers interface. And I start to wonder if they really just put this in for the SampleApp team, because they have so many dashboards in there. They kind of need this capability for that. So let me show you, what that kind of looks like up here. Here's our general index that we started with all of these, various examples that were here, and I clicked on full index, and you can see all the examples. Here they have dashboard pages within the general index dashboard for how catalog content is organized, the launchpad URLs, and login credentials, all that type of stuff is up here. But as well, I have the ability under the main index, for instance, to look at two different dashboard subpages, the main index and the visual analyzer index. So now that defines kind of a hierarchy. Here's the main index, and then within that I have the visual analyzer subpage as well. If I come in here and see how this was done, I can come in and edit this dashboard. This is one of the beauties of working with the SampleApp platform. I can rip this whole thing apart and discover how do they do this. So here's main index, here's visual analyzer, and if we come in here and look at the dashboard properties, I can see where those, here's main index is a page, here's main index is a subpage, and visual analyzer is another subpage. See how it's indented like that. And when I create new, I can create new dashboard pages or new dashboard subpages. It's all fleshed out. So we can create kind of a hierarchy of dashboard pages, and it provides a lot of capabilities in there. Let me try and catch up and see if there are questions that I can address as we go along in here. Let's see. Presentation mode is the second logo from the top bar, right to left. Yeah, that presentation mode is up there. I tried to show that. Somebody may be answering other people's questions. Thank you for helping out, folks. There is a parameter in the URL that can be. There is a parameter in the URL that can be used to open a project in presentation mode. Thank you for. I didn't know the answer to that. Can you join that project school to something else in the RPD? Yes. Let's see. And people are helping out others. Thanks for my friends on here helping out. All right, let me keep going on this, and I'll try and address any other questions that come out. So I also promised that I would share some things on BI Publisher 12.2.1.1 new features. I haven't had a chance to really look through all these, but for those that are especially interested in BI Publisher, yes, it continues on. And there are some new features that came out in 12.2.1.1 as well. For the end users, we now have the ability to deliver documents to the Oracle Document Cloud Service. For authors, you can use Web Center content as a data source now, and you can attach PDF files to your invoices. That'll help us out. There's an you can integrate using RESTful APIs and deliver the email body in HTML format. For administrators, we can finally now manage custom fonts and manage PGP keys. You can manage large size reports and with dynamic memory guard and file data security on the cloud with encryption. There, by the way, here's the URL. We'll make the PowerPoint available in case you can't take that down. We'll make that available, and you can go directly there or just Google it for the new features in 12.2.1.1 of BI Publisher. I also wanted to give a quick plug to the MapViewer people. They have a new release as well, 12.2.1.1 of that. There are more deployment for MapViewer. Some of the things in here are more deployment options. You can use ear files, can be deployed to other containers, for instance, Tomcat and Glassfish, and you can now deploy it to a generic WebLogic server. There are web admin console enhancements that you guys can read just like me, but one of the things is improved performance with the tile layers, support for GeoRaster, Virtual Mosaic, and there's here, which is a mapping company, has support. We have support now for here maps using the V3 API, and there's some style enhancements as well. Again, information from the MapViewer product management on that. If you want to try some of this stuff out, perhaps you are interested in some of these new features, but you want to see what's new in 12, but you aren't standing up a 12 instance. By the way, SampleApp is available out there. You can download that, but you know that's going to take a while to download. You have to have a server capable of doing it. If you want to just try out Oracle BI Cloud Services, and that is Oracle BI running on the cloud, we do have a test drive program. You can go to vlamis.com/td, runs on the Oracle Cloud. We do have test drives there for Oracle BI Cloud Services. Not exactly the same as OBIEE, but very similar, and has that visual analyzer interface that I've been spending most of today's time in. And we also have a test drive for Oracle Advanced Analytics, if you're interested in that. You get it for 24 hours. and you can we do include a click-by-click script to take you through it, or you can go totally off-road. It's really a faster and easier process. You can get an Oracle Cloud trial account, but you have to go through some things, registering that before you can do it. So some of the things also, quick plug for SampleApp. There's a new version coming out, V607. Has a bunch of the software in there. For instance, OBIEE 12211 on there, and many of the pieces on here, including, by the way, quick plug for another demo in there called MV Demo, MapViewer Demo, is on the SampleApp platform, and you can play with a lot of things that you can do with geospatial analytics that are not exposed with an OBIEE, but are very capable of doing in MapViewer. Check it out with MV Demo. It does run in the Oracle database. You can see the versions on here as well. And since I have a little bit of time, let me try and show some of those things that are in here and some of these examples. So let's go back to our samples. This is some of the stuff. I just kind of want to whet your appetite. Indeed, there's so much in the SampleApp platform that I wanted to kind of include in the webcast, but realized I would not do it full justice on here. So we're going to give a webcast in about another month on August 16th. We'll give more of a full demo and focus especially on kind of the end user capabilities and design this for people that are trying to decide, do they want this platform, what are the features of this, and really fully utilizing the SampleApp platform to show you the things that OBIEE is capable of doing, both from an answers and dashboard standpoint and from a visual analyzer standpoint. One of the things I talked about earlier was the ability to do a free-form type of presentation. And this is just an example of using Visual Analyzer to create kind of an infographic that is becoming very common that people want to be able to share. So here's an example. These are just individual visualizations, if you think about it. And with the ability to go in free-form design where I want to put things, you can see we can overlap these. And these are all fully live, drillable, all that type of stuff. So it's a pretty powerful platform. And then we have a timeline that is custom built on here. And then somebody has laid out, the SampleApp team has laid out these various visualizations along this infographic to make it look like really just an infographic capability. So the brushing works as I go over here, and the original had a background image. I got rid of the background image because I think it detracts from the capability, but you could float a background image on here and show this. If you just, if we come out of presentation mode and see how this is built, here are all the various data sources that were used, the tables that were used to build this, and all the person did was create a new type of visualization. I can go in here and right-click, inspect, all that type of stuff, and drag this over, open this up, and I can see the columns and click and drag these over and make a new visualization out of here, create a best visualization. I'll mess this up, but then I could add that, and then the key thing in being able to do this, if we look at the canvas properties on here, we can see that this is set to layout freeform instead of auto fit. The freeform allows me to take each one of these visualizations and drag it around and change where they occur. So I'm not locked into a specific grid methodology on here. So that starts to get it so we can build very nice visualizations for this. Another one I wanted to show you as an example of something else that you can do is, this is frankly a little busy for my taste, but it shows you kind of, and this is, I like to show this because it's an example of maybe things that are not what I would consider best practices in SampleApp, but it shows you some of the things that it's capable of doing. What I mean by that is this thing draws the eye so much that it pulls away from what the visualization would be, you know, looking at what the stock market index is and doing analysis. But from a pure eye candy standpoint, it's pretty nice in being able to, again, this is just a regular dashboard, that has been built such that you can now include all sorts of information that have real moving graphics. All that type of stuff is available, and overlay them. Just to give you a kind of a preview of some of the stuff we'll be showing in the next webcast with capabilities of the SampleApp version coming out. All right, so let me come back and show you a few more things, and we'll wrap up and take some of these questions. There are some new DV data visualization sourcing features. Here are some of the other examples. I wanted to include this in the PowerPoint deck so you could see examples of other types of visualizations that you could use. We also have the different connection types, and this platform allows us even things like advanced SQL, such as the prediction for arrival. You have the ability to do this with R, or directly going against SQL against the database is in here as well, advanced SQLs. We also have the freeform visualizations. I showed you that as well. And there's one other thing I wanted to go ahead and show. I happen to have this in data visualization desktop instead of in SampleApp. But this is an example of something else you can do in building. I just got this from one of my friends in Oracle that built an application on DVD, data visualization desktop, and this is information about the Olympics. So if we look at the top 20 by era and look at, for instance, how we've done versus other countries, you can see the United States is #1 in the pre-World War I era in terms of medal counts. And there's this whole controversy on what do you do with golds versus silvers versus bronze, and this actually goes through this very nicely. But you can see in the Cold War era, Soviet Union was on top over United States, but in the modern era, since the Cold War time, you can see United States is doing very well in the Olympics. But what I wanted to show you in this was the ability to create, basically, this is just another text box visualization that serves as a navigation, type capability. So the ability to put text in here and then associate a link with it allows me to build, even in Visual Analyzer, the capability to have, in effect, dashboard pages, if you will, to be able to look at this. And by the way, this one also happens to show a prediction using some of the analytics capabilities that are there. They've been in there since 12, since I guess about the December release. But the ability to forecast out what does the future look like for men and women's participation in the Olympics. And for that matter, if we look at the forecast, you can see that it looks like in the Olympics coming up, forecast according to this model, looks like there will be, for the first time, more women participating than men. Kind of interesting way of looking at the data. So this is pulled from Data Visualization Desktop. There are other things. This isn't a full presentation on that, but I thought it kind of well demonstrates some of the things you can do with some of the new capabilities in the new release of Oracle BI. With that, let me go ahead and put up the resources. I promised I would show where you can get at this stuff. SampleApp, to see what's new in that. Here's the URL for that. It's a big, long URL, oracle.com, Tech Network, all this type of stuff. But you can also just Google, that's what I do, Google Oracle BI SampleApp, and that's how you can download a fully functioning virtual machine with these capabilities. The version I'm showing you today is not available yet from OTN, but will be soon, I understand. Some of the other things on here, here's our URL, look at our blog. Please follow us on Twitter. We're at Vlamis Software. You'll find that we'll tweet out when we do these types of presentations to keep you all up to date on what's going on. That way you can share it with your friends. And so follow us on Twitter. Here's the information on the test drive I talked about. Prior OBIEE releases, we have a bunch of these in our papers section. And this is where we'll have another presentation I'll plug real quick on August 16th at noon Central Time. We're going to have a presentation that will focus more on demonstrating the capabilities on that SampleApp platform and some new things, from what I understand, coming out from Oracle in being able to showcase looking at end-user features and how people can use the product more effectively. That'll be in about a month. Here's the information from SampleApp. There's a YouTube channel with some pre-built videos that show you all the cool stuff you can do. They run kind of fast, by the way, so you can learn a lot in a small amount of time period. Here's the documentation on the new release features, and we also gave, if you want to just see more of a demo of fully of OBIEE, I gave one recently as part of the Oracle Technology Summit, and you'll find that link on our website as part of that, Vlamis.com. On July 12th, apparently, I gave a full demo of BICS, BI Cloud Services. And a quick plug for an upcoming conference at the Oracle Conference Center at headquarters of Oracle, bwithsummit.org. We're doing a call for papers right now, and so if you want to submit for papers for that conference, it is at the end of January, beginning of February, that week. Go check it out at bwithsummit.org. That's what I have in terms of prepared content. So let me go ahead and see what else we have in questions and see if I can address as many as I can in the time that we have here. I also am aware that some people were not able to join. Sorry about that. We had a limit on the number of people that we could have. We'll make this presentation available on our website so that people can view it. And also join us on this one for July, on this next presentation. On August 16th, you can go register it for right now, and we'll go through this more. All right. Now, I didn't mark which one I answered. Let's see. To join this XLS data with a subject area, click on the data source icon and add that as a data source. You should be able to, for those that asked about how you join multiple subject areas together, you specify a join condition. You can specify which keys to join on, and that's how they can join these together. The comment here is the join will be automatically sensed, but you can be changed by the user. Yeah, it tries to do a pretty smart thing. It looks, for instance, just as a tip, because I demonstrate this a lot, if you make the column names the same, it'll detect that and join the two data sources together. Obviously, if they're not the same, it has to try and figure it out, and sometimes it does it right and sometimes it doesn't. Can these transforms be added to the subject area for all users? Yes. It's not limited to a single, well, let's see, wait a minute. The transforms be added to the subject area. They're not added to the subject area. They're added as a data source area, but then they're added for all users to use, or is it limited to a single VA project? I believe it allows for more than just one single VA project. Can you delete a subpage from a dashboard without deleting the dashboard page? I'm pretty sure I tried that, and the answer is yes. You can delete a subpage. Yeah, I know, because I added a test subpage and then I deleted it before I showed it to you all. So yes, you can delete a subpage. What does the URL parameters look like for subpages? Huh, I don't know. I didn't think of that. We might be able to tell that real quick and answer this person's question. Let's just come up here and I'll run the index, and let's see if this guy's talking to me. Here we go. If I click on Visual Analyzer, it's not going to give me the URL in here. Well, I'm not going to see it right away. I don't know what the subpage looks like. Whether it's specifically, for instance, they have to be unique across subpages, have to be unique across pages. I'm guessing not. I don't know. I was hoping it would show down here in my place where I see the stuff. But anyway, let's see. Cannot hear you anymore. Oh, okay. That's not good. Hopefully I'm still presenting here. Can you elaborate on the integration of using RESTful APIs? What are some of the useful use cases? I have not had the chance to play personally with the RESTful APIs. Others in the organization have, so I cannot answer that question. Sorry. Downloading the SampleApp, I can't see which files have been downloaded. They all show the same file name. Huh, that may be true. When I downloaded it, I didn't have that issue, but I may have downloaded it in a different way than this person. This is just a thanks. Delete the subpage, yes. How do you delete the subpage? I think I went in here and edit the dashboard, and then I just specified that I got to the subpage and I could delete it. In here, maybe? Yeah. It's right here. I can delete the subpage. That's where I found it. Delete. You know, that X looks like it's almost grayed out, but that's how I would delete that subpage. Hopefully that answers that question. URL subpage, very similar to the URL for the dashboard. Thanks, Philippe, for answering that. Okay, so great. With that, I'm almost at the end of the top of the hour for this, so hopefully people have gotten something out of it. Please do sign up for our upcoming webcasts. I'll put that resources and questions slide up. Feel free to take a screen capture or something like that. It also will be available on our website, and show you that. Here it is. If I go into presentations, you'll find down here, we generally don't put this stuff out until the presentation is already concluded, but here is the new features webinar that we're doing right here. Here's the abstract for it. That's how hopefully some of you registered for it. There will be a presentation link so you can look at the PowerPoint, a PDF of the PowerPoint, and there'll be a watch replay slide. If you want to see what the OTN, the fuller implementation of that, here is that OTN summit that we did in July. It was actually broadcast around the world, believe it or not. So multiple time zones, the whole thing through Oracle Technology Network. But this is how you can watch that. And this is where I'd encourage you all to register and share with your friends. Here is the next presentation on this stuff. You can register for the SampleApp V607 or follow us on Twitter, and we'll be tweeting this, of course, and blogging about it. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close. I'm coming up on the top of the hour. Wait a minute, I got a couple other questions. What is the limitation of Excel download? Excel download or Excel upload? I'm not sure which one this person's asking, but there is a limitation. The Excel download is a parameter that you can change in terms of how many rows you can bring down, and I believe the same is true for the bringing files up to the web. I don't recall what it is, either a hard limit, but it's a soft limit I know is changeable. The other question in here, can we join two RPD subject areas which are not joined in the RPD itself? E.g., can we join the Excel file and two subject areas together in answers in VA, both or only VA? I know you can do it in VA in terms of joining the subject areas, and one of the things I kind of glossed over was the ability to join two XSA sources, Excel subject areas, two of those without an intervening RPD file. So now we have the ability to do that with two data sources and join two Excel spreadsheets directly together. Yes. And whether you can do that in answers as well, I don't recall. I do know that, that you need to do the, at least have the data visualization licensed in order to do the Excel upload stuff. How do you control the visual analyzer access? There is a ability to, I believe it's a permission that you provide to people. And this becomes important, by the way, for those that don't license the VA software, need to be able to prevent users from doing that. But it's a permission in there in order to, is what I've heard, to go in and change whether people can access Visual Analyzer. Another question, with advances in XSA support, you can do this in answers. Okay, good. You can do that in answers, is the answer that came back. Thank you, Mark. Yes, the ability for answers to use XSA does include a requirement to having a data viz license. Yes, that's what I was trying to dance around. So if you want to use the Excel subject areas, you need to have a data visualization license. That's something that you either purchase or it's available with BI Cloud Services or with the data visualization option of OBIEE or Data Visualization Cloud Service. Is there a single sign-on between answers and VA? You know, it's interesting. I have this problem as well. This person is saying in 12.2.1 VA had a separate login when going through answers and vice versa. You know, I found the exact same thing, and it's a minor annoyance. Yeah, I have to log in when I'm going to VA. I hid that from you all by having some tabs already open in my browser. But yes, normally if I go back and forth the first time I go into VA, I have to log in again. I'm not sure why it is that way, but so forth. But anyway, I've got top of the hour, so I'm going to thank everybody for being attentive. If people couldn't make it in for the webcast, we will make the video available on our website. You'll just need to make it available, and we'll have to upload it and make it available. But thank you all for paying attention, and have fun with the software and download SampleApp. Thanks, everybody.